Hello students, today we are going to start exercise 1.5. In that mainly we shall learn how to decide the given numbers are rational or irrational. We know that the decimals are of two types, terminating and non-terminating. So we have given that such kind of decimals or some other kind of numbers, and then we have to find out the given numbers are rational or irrational. In some of the question we need to simplify the given questions and then we can decide whether they are rational or not. Okay, so before that, first of all we shall see some of the concept which we require to use in the whole exercise. So let us see the concept. Now first concept is, we know that there are two types of decimal. One is terminating and non-terminating. Then second one is, we know that non-terminating decimal is again of two types. One is repeating and second one is non-repeating, right? Now in that terminating and non-terminating repeating decimal are always called as rational number, because terminating decimal we can express in the form of p by q, we can remove decimal and we can express in the form of fraction. Similarly, non-terminating repeating decimal also we have seen in the previous question how to express as a rational number. So who remain in the category of irrational number? Okay, so non-terminating, non-repeating decimal are always irrational. Remember, only one kind of number which will be called as irrational, whose non-terminating, non-repeating. You know that the square root of prime number always comes in the form of non-terminating, non-repeating form, and hence they will be irrational number. Now what happens if I add the two rational and irrational number or irrational and irrational number? So what happens? So that we will see in the point number 5. Suppose I add or subtract rational and irrational number, then the result will be again irrational number. Because suppose if I have one number 2 and second number is 0.1357 dash dash, if you add, it will become again non-terminating, non-repeating number only, right? And hence it will be irrational number. The same fact is applicable if you are taking two irrational number also, and if you divide them or if you multiply them, then also it will become as irrational number only. For example, if you multiply 2 along with root of 2 is a square root of prime number, it will be irrational number. So if you multiply 2 in that, again the result will be non-terminating, non-repeating number, and hence it will be irrational number. So let's begin with the question now. Now we are starting the exercise 1.5. First question, classify the following number as rational or irrational. So in that first question we have given that 2 minus root of 5. Just now I have taken the example of 2 multiplied by root of 2. Similar kind of question is given here. First number you see we have given that 2 and second number is given root of 5. 2 we know that it is an integer, hence it will be a rational number, and root of 5 it is a square root of prime number, so this will be non-terminating, non-repeating, and hence it would be irrational number. So we can say that the addition or subtraction of rational and irrational number is always irrational number. We can see the answer. In the answer the same thing we have mentioned. Okay, now let us see the second part. In the second part we have given that 3 plus under root of 23 minus under root of 23. Now student, one thing you remember, if the question you are finding that whether it is rational or irrational, first of all check whether the given question is given in the form of simplified form or not. If it is not given in the simplest form, then first we shall convert them into simplest form and then we can decide whether it is rational or irrational. So let us simplify. Now first I am taking 3 plus under root of 23 and minus of under root of 23. See, if I release the bracket, then remain here root of 23 and root of 23. That will be cancelled because both are same, and then only 3 will remain, and 3 I can express as 3 upon 1. So this number is in the form of rational number because in the form of p by q. Now Second question is given, third question is given 2 under root of 7 upon 7 under root of 7. So in this question you observe 1 root of 7 from the above and 1 root of 7 from the denominator. I can easily cancel. So who will remain? 2 upon 7, and 2 upon 7 is perfectly in the form of p by q, hence it is also rational. Okay, let us see the part number. Now in the part number 4 we have given that 1 upon under root of 2. Now here we required some more clarification, for some more simplification, to say whether this number is rational or irrational number. One thing remember, we cannot decide anything if our denominator is in the form of irrational form, because root of 2 is given in the denominator and hence it cannot be rational because it is a square root of prime number. So first of all we shall make our denominator as rational. For that I am going to multiply and divide by under root of 2. When root of 2 I will multiply into root of 2, it will become under root of 4, and under root of 4 is equal to 2. So we can say that denominator is here 2. And if I put up the value of root of 2 up till 3 place of decimal, it will be 1.414. Now if I divide, it will become 0.7071, and again it is going up till infinite. So we can say that this number is also non-terminating, non-repeating, hence it would be irrational number. Okay, let us see the next part. Next part is given here 2 pi. Sorry, by mistakenly the part number is missing here. I think it is part number D. So we have given that 2 pi. Pi is given along with that. Okay, so what is pi here? Pi, you know that the value of pi normally we take in that form of decimal 3.14, but remember this is not the exact value of pi. We take approximately pi is equal to 3.14 up till 2 place of decimal. Actually the value of pi we can find out up till million and trillions of places, and we came to the conclusion the pi is non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. What is pi here? Pi is the ratio of the circumference and diameter of the circle. So value of pi always comes in the form of non-terminating, non-repeating form, and it is irrational number. And if you multiply 2 in that, that will be also resultant will be also irrational number, because 2 is rational, and rational if you multiply into irrational, it will become irrational number. Okay, now let us see the question number 2. Question number 2, they are saying you have to simplify the given expression. So let us see the first part. 3 plus under root of 3 need to multiply it with 2 plus under root of 2. See, in the earlier classes you have seen the how to multiply the polynomials, how to multiply the algebraic expression. Initially you have learned how to multiply the numbers. Now we are seeing how to multiply these two algebraic expression where the root signs are given to us. So first of all, you see, from the first bracket I will take one by one both the term, and that both the term I will multiply into the second bracket in this manner. First of all, you see, from the first bracket I have taken 3 I am multiplying in the second bracket 2 plus under root of 2. Similarly, from the first bracket I have taken root of 3 that I am multiplying into again in the second bracket. Now one by one let us do the multiplication. 3 is going to multiply with 2 plus again 3 is going to multiply with root of 2. Similarly, in the last two terms root of 3 is multiplying into 2 and root of 3 is also multiplying with root of 2. Since here all the terms are given with the positive sign, so sign we need not to worry. However, you need to take care of sign also. The sign will be also multiplied of the respective two terms. Now I take the last term here. 3 and 2 when they multiplied they became 6. So first term is becoming here 6. 3 and root of 2 I cannot multiply because one number is in the form of integer and second number is given in the form of square root. Okay, so these two numbers we cannot multiply, so we shall simply write down in the form of multiplication. First we shall write down integer value followed by the square root number, means root of 2. Same way I wrote 2 root of 3 and last number is root of 3 I am multiplying with root of 2. Now these two numbers, when I am multiplying, observe they both have the root symbol. Okay, so they are like terms. So if I am multiplying root of 3 with root of 2, remember the root symbol will be common and 3 and 2 will be multiplied, they will become root of 6. It is same as I multiplied 3 and 2. Only difference is these two numbers are containing the root symbol, that's why the resultant is also coming along with the root of 6. And hence this is my answer, because all the four terms are different apart from each other, so we cannot add any of them. Hence this is only the simplified answer of my question. How to add such kind of like terms, unlike terms, okay, how to deal with them, that all will come in the further parts. So let us see the second part now. In the second part, we have given that 3 plus under root of 3 multiplied with 3 minus under root of 3. This question we can solve by two methods. First of all, we shall follow the same method as we followed in the part number A. Then I will give you alternative method also. So let us see the first method. In the first method, you know that the 3 I will multiply in the second bracket 3 minus root of 3, and same way root of 3 also I will multiply in the second bracket 3 minus root of 3. Now 3 I am multiplying inside, so 3 multiplied with 3 and 3 again multiplied with root of 3. Here 3 multiplied of root of 3, sign is negative. Why? Because sign of 3 is positive while sign of root of 3 is negative. So plus into minus became minus. Same way further root of 3 we are multiplying with 3. So that I wrote as it is, and again root of 3 I am multiplying with again root of 3. But you see, first root of 3 sign is positive while second root of 3 sign is negative. So plus into minus became minus, and root of 3 into root of 3 I wrote as it is now. Now 3 into 3 became 9. 3 into root of 3 again I wrote in the similar way, because I can't multiply both of them. Similarly root 3 into 3 again I am writing in the same manner, 3 into root of 3. And the last term root of 3 into root of 3, remember there is one formula, root of a into root of a is always equal to a. How it is possible? Suppose root of 3 and root of 3 you are multiplying as we have multiplied last time, root of 3 into root of 2. Okay, so it came root of 6. So here what will come? Root of 9. And what is the value of square root of 9? That will be 3. So here remember the formula, root of a multiplied with root of a always become a only. Okay, so for example, if I ask you next time what is the value of root of 5 into root of 5, that will be 5. Root of 7 into root of 7, again it will be 7. Now from 9 and 3 I can subtract, I wrote in the subtraction, and minus of 3 root 3 and plus 3 root 3 I wrote together, because both are same, so they both will be cancelled, and from 9 if I subtract 3 I get here 6 as an answer. Okay, but this question you can solve by one more method. Let us see that method. Before we start that method, you should know this formula, a plus b multiplied with a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. Okay, so now compare a plus b. In place of a plus b, in the question I have given 3 plus under root of 3, and similarly a minus b, in the place of a minus b, in the question I have given 3 minus under root of 3. So if I compare, I get the value of a is equal to 3 and b is equal to root of 3. If this value I put up in the formula, then I will get here 3 plus under root of 3 multiplied with 3 minus under root of 3. And now in the right hand side I am putting the value, because left hand side became my question whose value I need to find out. Okay, now right hand side is becoming a solution of my question. So a square, that will be square of 3, and then root of 3 square. Now square of 3 will become here 9, right? But what will be the square of under root of 3? Square root of under root of 3, again I can write down as root of 3 into root of 3, and root of 3 into root of 3, as you know, that will be 3. So 9 minus 3, it became now again 6. Okay, so this is the answer of the question. This is quite simpler method whatever I have done in the earlier one. Okay, but earlier method is the method which you need not to remember. You can just follow it. After one or two question, easily you can follow the method. But in the second one, alternative solution, you need to remember the formula. Whichever is convenient, you can adopt accordingly. Now the third part, root 5 plus root 2 whole power 2. Now see this question I am solving with the help of formula. Sorry, I am solving with the help of the earlier method. Okay, you can solve this question with the help of formula also. Means you can apply the formula a plus b the whole square and easily you can find out. But here I am solving with the help of same method I did in the beginning. Root 5 plus root 2 whole power 2 I can write down as root 5 plus root 2 again multiplied with root 5 plus root 2. Okay, now root 5 I will multiply in the second bracket and again root 2 also I will multiply in the second bracket. Now root 5 multiply to root 5 will multiply to root 2. Same way root 2 will multiply to root 5 and root 2 will multiply to root 2. Now here we shall apply that one formula, root of a into root of a become here a. So root of 5 into root of 5 will become here 5. Same way root of 2 into root of 2 will become here 2. But what will happen? The middle two terms, root 5 into root 2. Since both the terms are having root symbol, so 5 and 2 will multiply. So both the terms multiplication will get here root of 10 and root of 10. Now here one important thing we are going to learn. See, 5 and 2 you can add, there is no problem. 5 and 2 you can add, that will become 7. But how will you add the term of roots? Okay, so first of all you check the term coming inside the root, are they same? Yes. In the square root, in the first term it is coming 10 and in the second term also it is coming 10. So we can say that both the terms are coming same. So in that case, the term we write in the beginning of the square root, outside the square root, whatever the terms we write, that terms we can add. Since here is outside the root of 10, there is no term is given, I can assume 1. So both the square root terms I am assuming here 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 if I add, it will become 2 under root of 10. Okay. Otherwise, you can apply the formula a plus b the whole square. That is also quite simple for you. Okay. Only in the examination that formula can be applicable in such kind of questions. Let's see the next one. Next question is root of 5 minus root of 2 multiplied with root of 5 plus root of 2. Again observe, this question can be done with the help of the formula a plus b into a minus b. Here if I put up and compare first, so I can say that the value of a is coming here root of 5 while value of b is coming here as root of 2. Now if I put up the value in the right hand side, I am getting root of 5 square minus root of 2 square, and square root of root of 5 is, square of root of 5 is here 5, and again the square of root of 2 is 2. So 5 minus 2 will become here 3. If you are squaring the root of 5, it will become root of 5 into root of 5 and that will be 5. Same way root of 2 into root of 2 will become here 2. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Okay. This is the answer of part number D. Now question number 3 we are going to start. Question number 3, actually answer can be finished in 1 or 2 lines, but it is a part of discussion what exactly we have given in the question. So see, in the question number 3 we have given that, recall pi is defined as the ratio of the circumference, say c, means we are denoting the circumference by a symbol c over here, and they are saying circumference of circle add to its diameter. Okay, diameter they are saying d. So pi is the ratio of the circumference and diameter, right? So now they are saying this seem to be contradict the fact the pi is irrational. How will you resolve this contradiction? Means what they want to say that, for example, if you take the value of pi, you know that the value of pi is non-terminating, non-repeating. In the earlier one also I have told you the value of pi we can find out up till trillions of places, and we can say pi is completely non-terminating, non-repeating term. So it will be irrational number, but normally we take the value of pi as 22/7. In some of the questions of mensuration, Okay, sorry, not in mensuration, in three-dimensional shapes, you have taken the value of pi. Similarly, area of circle also you have taken the value of pi as 22 upon 7, right? Area of circle, circumference of circle, you must have taken the value of pi as 22 upon 7. So if I consider the value of pi as 22 upon 7 and 22 upon 7 is in the form of p by q, I can say that pi is rational. So this is becoming a contradiction about the two different value of pi. So how can you resolve this particular problem? So see, here we can say that this is not a contradiction. When we take the value of pi is equal to 22 upon 7, that is actually not a value of pi. For making our calculation smooth and simple, we consider the value of pi as 22 upon 7. But basically, the value of pi is not equal to 22 upon 7. What happens when you divide the circumference by the diameter of circle? For example, you have one circle and you have provided the circumference and the diameter of the circle. So if you divide circumference by diameter, each and every time the answer comes approximately equal to 3.14. But that answer normally up till 2 place of decimal it is 3.14. If you go further, it will be non-terminating, non-repeating term. And hence we can say that the ratio of circumference to the diameter of circle is always non-terminating, non-repeating term. But we require this particular term for the calculation of area of circle, maybe in the circumference of circle. So for making our calculations simple, we take the value of pi as 22 upon 7, which is approximately equal to 3.14. Okay, so basically they both are not equal. The exactly pi is equal to 3.142 dash dash dash. Okay, it goes up to infinite, but only for the sake of calculation we take the value of pi as 22 upon 7. Okay, so now I think you come to know they both are not equal. Only for calculation point we take like this. So this is not a contradiction. Now let us see the question number 4th. Sorry, here I have written question number 3rd only. So please read as question number 4th. Represent root of 9.3 on number line. Now see students, earlier we have seen how to write down the, how to draw the root of 2, root of 3, root of 5 onto the number line. Now we are taking the decimal value onto the number line. Okay, so let us see how we can find out the decimal value in the square root to be plotted onto the number line. So let's see. First of all, I will take one line here AB. Okay, in the line AB, I will take a length 9.3 centimeter. 9.3 why I am taking? Because I am plotting here under root of 9.3. So without square root, you take the length of AB as 9.3. Okay, please draw this figure with the help of ruler, pencil and the other geometrical instruments. Okay, now after making line AB, I will produce a line AB up till point C, and the value from B to C I will extend 1 centimeter. Okay, means suppose A to B is 9.3, moreover I will take 1 centimeter. Now if the question is different, the length of BC will not change. For example, next time you are making the figure of under root of 5.4. So A to B will be 5.4, then B to C will be as usual 1 centimeter. Okay. Now after making a point C, we will draw the perpendicular bisector of line AC. I think you know the perpendicular bisector of AC. If you don't know, let's see once how we can draw it. So first of all, to draw the perpendicular bisector of AC, I will keep my rounder at the point A and I will measure the radius more than half of AC. Means AC half, wherever it is coming, you can see it approximately. AC's half is coming till here, then you take more than half. Normally we suggest you take the length of your rounder nearby till the point C. Means keep your rounder at the point A and measure nearby, not exactly on C. Nearby means it reaches before the point C. Okay, little before the point C. Now from your rounder you will cut one arc above and below. From the point A, after taking the arc more than half of the AC, you will cut one arc above from the point A and one arc below from the point A only. Now you will take the point C and you will draw the again two arc, one above and one below. You will get the point of intersection. Now this point of intersection you will join it. So you will get the perpendicular bisector of AC. Okay. Now perpendicular bisector, wherever it is intersecting the line AC, that I am giving you as point M. Okay. Now we shall take M as a center. Taking M as a center, and radius we shall take here equal to AM, means keep your rounder at M and measure the length either up till A or up till C. Okay, and draw the semicircle. Once again I repeat, taking M as a center and radius equal to AM, draw the semicircle. You will observe, if you are taking the radius up till A to M, then definitely it will touch the point C only, because both are same. Now you will draw the semicircle, and from the point B you will draw one perpendicular. For making perpendicular you can use your rounder or you can use the protractor also. That perpendicular will intersect the semicircle at a point E. Okay, from the point B you have drawn the perpendicular, and that perpendicular is intersecting the semicircle at a point E. Now keep your rounder at the point B. Okay, look at the step number 6. We are saying that keep your rounder at the point B and take the radius equal to BE. Okay, and then draw the arc C. Once again shall I show you? See, this is the point B. Take the rounder and keep at the point B and then measure the length from B to E. Okay, B to E you have to measure the length from your rounder and then cut the arc like this. And for a while you can produce your line AB up till some length, say it is D. So that arc we have drawn from the point E will intersect the line at the base at a point D. So if you measure the length of B to D, that will be equal to under root of 9.3. Okay, so this way complete the figure. How we have draw the root of 9.3 we have learned in this question. You can play the video for this particular part if you require to know how we have drawn this particular figure. Okay, so once you listen the instructions very carefully, follow the instructions each and every time, and accordingly you can find out the answer. Okay everybody, so next time we can see some more questions of 1.5, remaining questions of 1.5, and we will complete the exercise 1.6. After that I will take some additional questions of chapter number 1. Okay, thank you.